Dive into the overall account, see what that's sitting at. All right, 79,380. Okay, no, we're at $80,000, $80,837 and 63 cents. We're back in that $80,000 mark. Yo, what's going on, YouTube? It's O'Neil from Tap Through O'Neil. Another week, another $1,000. We're gonna do the portfolio review. I'm going to encourage you guys to please watch this video in its entirety. We have a lot of things to cover. A lot of things happened in the portfolio and just as a whole within the market. So it's a lot of things that I want to cover with you guys. We do got a margin interest, how much they charged us the margin interest last month. And we got, things to discuss as far as our option plays and then just the overall account as a whole and what, we plan to do moving forward. As you guys know, the job reports came out last week, on Friday. So it was abysmal. The jobs report was abysmal. There's only 22,000 jobs added. What was it for last month? And we're not even too sure if those are the most accurate numbers. Those numbers always get changed and revised as time go on, and so it's looking like we're gonna get at least a 25 basis rate cut at least this coming week, and probably a little bit more to come throughout the year. Yeah, definitely a lot more to come throughout the year. But the labor market is looking like it's suffering, and if it does get, if it continues on this path, we can quite possibly go into a job market recession where people's fighting for jobs, and when people are fighting for jobs or not able to get jobs, the economy kind of shrinks because there's less spending. People has less money to spend on the economy, and the flow of the dollar kind of just stops circulating. So things of that nature. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the mobile. No, not the mobile, the laptop version. Do our weekly $1,000 deposit, and then we're gonna switch over to the mobile version of the app, and then deep dive into the portfolio and everything that's going on in there. So stay tapped in. All right, we're sitting at $71,689.15 in the individual investing account. Our buying power is sitting at 45,792.26. And I know that's an interesting number. You guys might wonder why I have that much in buying power. We're going to get into it when we deep dive into the portfolio on the mobile version. But currently, we're down $184.47 on the day. And on the week, let's see how much, okay, so we're up $718.59 on the week, which is about 1.02%. Let's, look down at the breakdown. All right, so we got a margin total of $50,000. Margin used is now at $4,528. Now that is definitely a decrease from what we've been trading in margin. You guys know my margin has been over like $3,000, $30,000 for the past, I want to say 2-3 weeks. But it's been over $20,000 for well over a month or two, I want to say. So our futures buying power is at $22,000, $22,896.13 to be exact. Now the reason why it's different from the margin total is because with futures they usually allow you to borrow about, utilize about half of how much they will allow you to use in margin, because it's a lot riskier, a lot more riskier. So our margin risk is low. We're at 29. We have a margin buffer of $29,701. So let's go ahead and make our $1,000 weekly deposit. And you remember, with this weekly $1,000 deposit, we get that gold, the entries into that gold thing that they're having for Robinhood this month. So yeah, let's continue with the standard. Hopefully we get some gold, hopefully get some gold, or we become one of those lucky 3 winners this month. All right, so you see your deposit earned you 1,000 entries. So we're sitting at a total of 3,013 entries. So hopefully that helps out. All right, so deposit initiated covers margin. Let's see what the total account is sitting at now. Not the total, but all right, so we're sitting at $72,686.68. Buying power went up $2,000, so now we're sitting at $47,792.26. Margin total went up $1,000. It's at $51,320.34. Margin used decreased down to $3,528.08. That is very beautiful. And our futures buying power went up to $23,896.13. Now our margin buffer is currently sitting at $30,000, $30,701.71 to be exact. So we have a decent buffer. So yeah, now that we're finished with the mobile deposit, we're gonna well, not the mobile, the weekly $1,000 deposit. We're gonna switch over to the mobile version of the app and deep dive into the portfolio and everything that's been happening. So stay tapped in. All right, so as I said, we're sitting at $72,000. Buying power is at 47,000. And our option plays are currently we have a Misty call with 4 contracts at a $6.5 call, which is set to expire by the end of this coming week. And then we also bought a call on PLTW for $42, a $42 call, and it's currently at $42. So if it pushes up past this, we're gonna be in some, in the green. We only bought these calls for $200, so I'm not mad at it. And I'm expecting a nice push up, pump up, from all stocks, just the stock market as a whole. Like I'm expecting a nice decent pump up when they announce the rate cuts. Even though some of it has kind of been priced into the market, I just, I expect a little bit more of a pump. As you guys can see, we got rid of our TSLL shares. I've been holding on to TSLL, which is the leverage ETF that tracks Tesla. I've been holding on to these shares for probably 2.5 months, almost 3 months, and we ended our wheel cycle on them, and so got our call. We got some call assignments, which was the $13 call, which was about how many contracts? 10 contracts on that call. And then we had about 13 contracts on a $12.5 call. So the reason why it's reflecting negative is because we lost out on some of the profit because of where TSLL is trading at now. So let's go into view TSLL, see what it closed out at. So it's currently sitting at $13.51. Well, it's overnight, so right now it's overnight. The market just opened up in pre-market, so it's starting to move already. But it closed out at the $13.5 range. So those shares got called away, or probably a little bit lower than that. But those shares got called away. So now we're only holding 8 shares of TSLL. And we kind of lost out on some of the profits because half of those shares, which was 13 contracts, was about 1,300 shares, got called away at the $12.5 strike price, which is like a whole dollar difference, So, and then the other ones that got called away was at the $13 strike price, which is still a 50% loss times however many shares were there. So, totaling all of that up, we kind of lost out on over $1,000. But I was okay with that because I wanted to show you guys and demonstrate to you guys what it's like to end a wheel cycle. And I've been holding on to these shares for as long as I've been collecting premiums and hitting some licks off TSLL. So I can't even be mad. So yeah, these are like plays and the money that we've been making. I'm not gonna dive into that too much. We gotta keep it moving. I don't want to spend too much time. This is gonna be a longer video, but I just want to show you guys real quick. So TSLY, if I'm not mistaken, we did get a payout from TSLY, and we're a little bit below our average cost, but we're really close. We have 400 shares, and let's see what that payout was. So yeah, so September 5th, we got a $157 and 35-cent payout, which is pretty beautiful. We'll see the breakdown on that. That's about 39 cents per share, and we have about 400 shares. So that's the breakdown on that. Nice little payout. Looking like ULTY. Let's see what that ULTY is. So ULTY is currently sitting at $5.50. We still do have 1,100 shares. We're down $742.65, which is about down 10%, a little over 10%. And the payout that we received was $99.05, which was a little low. I'll show you the breakdown on it. That's about a flat 9 cents per share. Flat out, just flat out 9 cents per share. And it's like, I don't know, ULTY is cutting back. Like, do we gotta be worried?
do we got to be worried about ULTY? Let's see what it did. It's been dropping. It's been dropping, but let's see if it can recover. We got to factor in the fact that the market has been going like negative. It's been dropping. The market has been selling off. So we got to keep that in factor. Maybe when the market does recover a little bit, this will stabilize a little bit more, and hopefully we can get back to that $6 range. If we do at least get back to $6, I'll be happy with that. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I have collected more in dividends than I have lost on the total return. So still looking good on our position. Hui's doing pretty good. It's sitting at $65. As if you guys did not know, Hood just got added to the S&P 500, which is absolutely insane. This stock absolutely jumped on the last market day, which was Friday. It got added to the S&P 500, which is a little bit crazy because Misty or MicroStrategy or Strategy as we want to call it was also in the running to get added to the S&P 500, so that would have definitely pumped it up, and that would have been nice buying opportunity if you could have gotten a little bit earlier, but it didn't quite make the cut, so it did have a little bit of a sell off. But yeah, let's get into PLTW. PLTW, let's see what our payment was. Well, we're down $174.73. Currently holding 50 shares. I did not increase any positions on this ETF, but we did, like as I said, buy a call, and that is set to expire October 17th. We got a $18 dividend payout, which was about 36 cents per share. We hold about 50 shares, so that is a breakdown on that.
All right, so the Roth IRA is sitting at $3,246.16. We currently hold 59 shares of SCHD, closing in on that 60 share mark. And JEPQ, we hold 23 shares, 23.48 shares of JEPQ. We did get a dividend payout from JEPQ. I'll show you guys what that looks like, or what that looked like. We had a $10 dividend payout from JEPQ, which we reinvested. That's about 44 cents on 22 shares. And it's all right. It's all right. I'm kind of tempted to change this into something that's gonna be give me a lot more of a return, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right, so and then SCHD, we are sitting at 9.5 shares of SCHD, and we're up $2.40. As I said, with these funds, I have 8.40 cents, $8.40 going into JEPQ and SCHD on a daily basis, and then on SCHD on a weekly basis, I have about $6 going into it. So that just covers the Roth IRA. We'll go ahead and dive into the overall account, see what that's sitting at. All right, 79,386. Okay, no, we're at $80,000, $80,837.63. We're back in that $80,000 mark. Now this week will either bring us back down to the 70s or push us more into the $80,000 mark. I'm excited to see what happens this week. We got a lot of things that's gonna be coming up. Rate cuts may or may not happen. I'm projecting that they will happen, and if you guys can see, our individual holdings are at 49, and our individual margin used went down. Speaking of margin, now let's dive into how much they charge us in margin interest on last month. So if I'm not mistaken, we go into, where do we go into history? We'll go, no, all types. We'll go to margin. All right, so here's the breakdown. We got charged $150.96 on margin for borrowing over $31,504.61. This was the highest amount we got charged in margin interest, but we covered that margin interest, through all of our option plays. We've been making money from options, and we also been making money from dividends and just the overall appreciation of our portfolio. So that was pretty nice. But to show you guys the breakdown, we are currently now only sitting $3,528.08 in margin. So that number that we're going to get charged in margin interest is going to decrease significantly. Uh, so some of you guys were a little bit confused about what margin looks like. You guys thinking the number that negative $30,000 was their money plus my money. No, the money that you see reflected in this account, that is all money that I own. Their money is not factored into that number. So we'll go into and show you guys right here. So when you see this, this is stocks and ETFs. This is going to show you what my stocks and ETF holdings are, and this is going to show you what my crypto holdings are, which is about 27,000, which adds up to that $72,000 number. I'm just breaking it down to you guys, showing you guys real quick, because some of you guys may be a little bit confused about how you calculate the numbers in my portfolio. We still do have, like I said, a $30,000 buffer within the portfolio, and as I said, we got charged $150 in margin interest. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and this is what the past looked like. uh yeah, this is pretty much it. This is the overall portfolio on the week. I hope I didn't miss anything. If I did miss anything, I'll try to add it.
If you guys felt like this was useful or helpful in any way, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, turn on your post bell notifications, leave a comment down below for feedback. If you guys want to join up on the Discord to talk to like-minded individuals like myself and others, or get my updates on some of the plays, option plays that I make, join up on the Discord. That is free to join. All of that is going to be in a link in the description below. And if you guys want to get in direct contact with me, go ahead and follow me on Instagram. Hit me up on Instagram and DM me. So yeah, without further ado, it's Captain O'Neil, and I'm signing out.